I'm excited to see the black belts coming in, and I'm excited to see what happens, and I'm excited to see what's going to go on with the other adults too, and figure out, like, you see a lot of schools competing against each other. It's a little bit of that Bay Area local pride. And the other day, actually, what was really cool to see was we saw Andre and Sergio Silva fighting on one mat, on mat 1 actually, and then on mat 2. Both of their students, their brown belt students, were also facing off against each other. So you see a lot of that local pride, a lot of that local energy to where the schools are coming together and, putting their best out there. And these guys know each other. It's not like there's no negative animosity, but it is kind of like, it's the mini Olympics of the Bay Area.
Guys, I think we're going to start up here on mat 1. We're going to have 3 referees presiding on this mat. And for those that don't know, that's significant because it's the only match in black belt. It's technically a final. So there's a lot more at stake. It's going to be a lot more intricate movement and maybe possibly some arguing over who had what position when the match gets stopped and restarted. So just to make sure, cut down margin of error for the main referee who really has the ultimate call. We have one referee unbiased on each end of the mat, opposite corners, and they will all have to agree on a call for it to be
in terms of they could stand
final.
up, call advantages, things like that.
Right, so the referee can call an advantage, and if both referees stand up and agree on the side and they wave it off, then that advantage will get waved off. So they can override if they agree.
Yeah, if the 2 side referees agree. Now, another thing that can happen is maybe a side referee feels that there should have been an advantage or something taken away, and the center referee also agrees. He'll just go ahead and award it. He doesn't necessarily need both referees to stand up to award.
Right.
To award whatever he's going to award, whether it be the penalty or
it is the ultimate call of the referee that's on the mat.
Yes. And so it looks like we have Vince VANDERLIPE up on the mat first. Cashinho Osvaldo is refereeing center. He's an excellent referee. John FRANKL, a lot of respect between the opponents.
And here we go. It's going to be a 5-minute time limit. I believe this is the master black belt middleweight division.
So Vince already going for his guard pull. He did have his grips, even though they slipped to make that guard pull. It is a requirement that you have a grip before pulling. We see a Kimura attempt
by John FRANKL. Look at that.
Right off the bat.
He's got that locked in.
That's tight right there.
That
might.
Yeah, this could be a good finish. He's got a good half guard position right now. His leg is not very deep. It is secured by Vince, but still an okay half guard position if he keeps his hips a little bit heavy here. But he is in danger of a sweep and a back attack if Vince can change the angle of his arm just a little bit. But
it's efficient right there because most guys will hurry up and grab their belt, but there's no belt to grab.
Exactly.
It's dangerous because technically he's not going to get in a traditional Kimura. He's straightening his arm to prevent the inevitable, basically. Yeah. If he pushes that straight arm above the plane of his own shoulder, it'll pop. Or if he brings it in to defend that, he'll get the Kimura.
Now we see Vince rocking John over to the other side of the body, and that's going to expose John's back. And whether John has this Kimura lock or not, if Vince can get to that back, he's going to be able to bend his arm at an angle that would undo that lock. But
and he also can get, if he can get his elbow on the mat, it helps support his arm.
Absolutely. But John's doing such a great job of controlling this position.
He did a good job of preventing that back take by putting his right foot in front of the bottom thigh.
Those were some of the faces of the Coalition 95 members.
John has got the side control position now.
Vince is in
he will get 3 points. Yep, 3 points on the board. He has got a good lead with 3 minutes left.
Staying calm, nice. Just relaxing. Staying real tight. He's got that right knee into his hip, sealing off any kind of escape.
Vince is in a bad spot here.
In a bad spot.
Yeah. This is not where Vince wants to be.
He can't grab the pants, right? You could see
usually all he's got to do
he wants to.
All he's got to do is wipe the mat, circular pattern over his head, and he most likely will tap because it jeopardizes. When you do that, it's not just the shoulder. He's threatening the elbow and the shoulder.
Vince is doing a good job of keeping his position at just the right angle so that John can't do what you just said and finish his submission. He's keeping his arm good and heavy. He's making slow attempts. Oh, he did tap.
Yeah, you could see Vince. You could see that the pressure was torquing up there, and The indicator of that is when an opponent, you know, when they're in a submission, you see their hand kind of come off the body, almost like they're getting ready just in case they have to tap to hit that tap, and you kind of saw Vince's hand position change a little bit, and then John hit that.
And then that was it.
How
do you feel?
I feel wonderful, you know. He tapped me yesterday, so, you know, jiu-jitsu is real life. You don't always get to win.
Yes. Well, we were just talking about how it feels when you take a loss and then you get to come back and vindicate it. So.
Like I said, it's real life. I went home and I thought, man, I have jet lag. I just got in from Korea. I just won't come tomorrow. You know, that thought lasted about 2 minutes. Then I think about my own philosophy, what I tell my students. Winning and losing doesn't matter. You just get back on the mat, get back on the mat. It's about the process. So I have to live by my own teachings, you know, show up again and try again.
Yes. How important is that for you to live as an example for your students?
It's everything. I mean, whether it's my students, my daughter, you know, they see what you do. They don't care what's coming out of your mouth.
Right.
You know, you can say everything, but if I don't show up the next day after a loss, they're like, oh, yeah, it's okay. You just, you know, kind of give up and, you know.
Yeah, what do you tell? You can't tell somebody to keep it going if you're not going to keep it
Precisely.
going, right?
So try to lead by example.
I want to ask about how you got into that lock in the first place, because you kind of just jumped right over the guard and went straight for that arm, and it looked like you were going to try to roll him, and then he kind of stayed flat, and then you sat so heavy with your hips. So was that your strategy from the go, knowing that Vince was a guard player?
Well, he really tied me up in his guard yesterday with the gi. He has an awesome spider guard, and he had me in knots, you know, and by the time he finished me, it was because the finish was good, but it was because he had really done the right thing and taken all my energy with his spider guard before he finished me. And so today I didn't want to spend a lot of time in his guard, so I was happy to play the takedown game with him, but he pulled guard again. He has a good guard. Why not? It worked yesterday. And so I was either going to look for, you know, a direct pass and not hang out there, or a direct attack. And this is something I work on a lot. You know, rolling Kimura's good, especially no-gi, you know.
Absolutely.
He was doing the right thing and almost, you know, trying to climb to my back, with which a gi, he might have had like a lapel grip or a belt grip, but with no-gi, I felt safe there to hold the position so I could finally get the pass and start
attacking. It looked like you were really using your hip position to control his hip position, and it obviously worked out for you. So
yeah, like I said, it's a little riskier with a gi, but with no-gi, I felt I worked that position a lot. I feel like if I can keep the grip, you know, if I can keep the arm, I feel pretty confident. Now, passing is a different thing. I wasn't sure how quickly I would free my leg, but I knew I wouldn't give the back or get reversed or anything. Yeah.